Hi guys, how are you doing? So this is my first attempt at creating something valuable on this platform, YouTube. So it takes a lot of commitment actually to make a YouTube video. You know, it's not like TikTok where you can do something within less than 1 minute and you're done. TikTok, I'd say, it's much easier to go around with. But YouTube, you have to plan everything, you know. You cannot just do impromptu videos. You need to make a plan, you know, explain something in detail on YouTube than on TikTok. So this is my attempt because you have been asking for more longer videos. So today we are doing an unboxing. And what you ask, these are probes, yeah, sharp probes from mechanic. So you have to apologize if my video is a bit staggering. My audio is not that perfect, my lighting is also not there, so bear with me. Maybe in time we are going to improve on things. So let's unbox. So this one I got it from China, AliExpress. Price, I think it was around 1800, 2000 shillings. So that's a lot of money, considering you can get a multimeter, like the full multimeter with all the probes, for around that amount. So here they're saying is the Mechanic one. Mechanic is a very big brand, you know. So we don't know the actual authenticity of this one. They could be cheap or knockoffs. I don't know. So inside you have the probes and this sticker. What does it say? The certificate. I don't know if maybe it's supposed to mean something about quality control or something like that, and nothing else. So there it is. It's a bit nice, I can't lie. First of all, it's very light. Yeah, this they're using silicone, which is very light and easily bendable. There are a bit of caps on the end. And also on the tip. If you put that against my regular probes that I normally use, this one, I can feel the difference immediately. This one, they are very big and bulky and heavy. This is like PVC material compared to silicone. So you can see how easily silicone takes shape. Yeah? It's very easy to move around compared to PVC. PVC, it's very hard. Yeah, it doesn't like to be bent around, moved around. So, and it's very easy to tangle because it doesn't conform. You know, it's very hard if you compare to silicone. Silicone, it's like aluminium, easily ductile. You can shape it, bend it into different shapes. And the advantage of silicone, it's very hard to tangle. Yeah, you can see how already the PVC is all mangled up and tangled already. And that's something I was struggling a lot with. When you're working on the bench, you have a lot of things going on, you'll find that you're having a hard time using this kind of probes, you know. Now I want to see how the silicone will behave, and quite frankly, I like it already. And you can see the tips. So the tips, they are very sharp. As I've told you before, this one I'm planning to use them for micro soldering. So micro soldering, you need very, very sharp tips. you know, so that you don't accidentally short neighboring components. That's why you get a very fine tip compared to the regular ones that I'm using. You can see this one is almost thrice if not twice the diameter, and also the tip, you can see the mechanic one is very sharp. Both of them, they are gold plated, yeah, and that's something we appreciate in terms of reducing the tip's resistance. Gold plating, so both of them gold plating, which is a plus. You can measure the resistance. There it is. So these are the normal PVC ones that came with my meter. This is the Unity UT61E plus. Yeah, it's a very good meter. Budget friendly, no, a bit pricier, but a good entry level if you want a multimeter that is of good quality, has all the input protection, and it's a non-good brand if you don't want to spend thousands of shillings for the fluke meters. Resistance, so 0.06, yeah, that's very low. Now let's switch to the mechanic one. I mean, it's a bit higher with 0.03 ohms, or I'm not getting it proper. Let's see again. Yeah, this one for mechanic, it's a bit higher with the 0.03 ohms. I mean, it's not a very big difference, but it would be nice if it could match the resistance of the props that came with the meter. Let's check this again. 0.06. Yeah, these PVC ones, they have better resistance. I mean I say better in quotes because 0.03 is not really going to make a big difference, but in terms of measuring current, you might see now that's where the difference comes in, because this one's the mechanic one, I mean, they are written somewhere. Yeah, here you can see 20 amps. Yeah, so at 20 amps, maybe the resistance will come into play when you are measuring that kind of power. Also, these ones, they are rated for 20 amps, the PVC ones. So I would trust this to measure actually 20 amps because they have very low resistance. Now with 0.03, it seems a bit high because I don't know, these ones, I don't know if it's to do with the cable itself, because these ones, they feel very light, yeah, and I don't know if the diameter is the same. Oh, let me get my tool here. You can try and measure the diameter. So the mechanic one, we're going to do in millimeters. The mechanic one, it's like 3 millimeters. Yeah, that is with the insulator. So I don't know what's the diameter of the wire that is inside, but let's just take a random figure. And the PVC ones, it's like 4 millimeters, 3.5, a bit thicker, maybe has a much thicker wire. That's how they are getting the resistance so low. I don't know. The other thing now is the length. So I'm measuring 120 centimeters for the mechanic, and mine I believe mine are much longer. Sorry guys, I'm messing things around. So my probes, yeah, my probes are very long. The 138, yeah. So that's how much? 13 centimeters difference. Now, because my meter position is right on my working area, so shorter is better in my aspect, yeah. So shorter means I don't have a lot of cable to deal with, and also the thing with getting the cables entangled is very better, or I say it's less likely to get your cables entangled if you're using a shorter probe. Now, for longer probes, yeah, if your meter is far away from your desk, like on top of a shelf on the wall, maybe that you can prefer a much longer probe. But in my perspective, the shorter is better, since my meter is just less than half a meter away from my farthest end in my working bench. So these ones shorter will work just fine. Next, what I want to measure is the current handling. Yeah, this one is rated for 20 amps, but the mechanic 20 amps, my probes 20 amps. But I want to see how much the 0.03 resistance makes a difference. So I'm not particularly going to use the mechanic work to measure any current. So this one is resistance, diode mode, capacitance, you know, working with SMD components. So not really about current, but let's just check for the sake of it to see how that resistance comes into play when you are measuring huge amounts of current. So we need to go full in 10 amps. This is the maximum from my power supply. We don't need a lot of volts, yeah, like 2 volts is enough. Now I'm going to measure the resistance in one wire, and the idea is I'm going to pass current through the probe from one end to one end, then I'll measure the voltage drop on the other end, on the two ends, sorry, and that will give me the resistance of the probe and power losses and how much heat is lost because of the resistance of the probe. I don't have any adapter that can fit here. This one is easy. I can easily insert a crocodile tip inside there, but for these ones it's a bit tricky because you can see one end there as that plastic tip. It's more of protecting, and the actual conductor is behind that rubber tip, so I'll have to find something that can fit here. So this is my old multimeter that I no longer use anymore. It's cheap, it's nasty, unsafe, and we need this connector. Nice. Yeah, that's perfect. And we'll start with the PVC ones that came with the Unity. We are working with the red one. Yeah, and on. So right now 10.2 amps is flowing through our cable. Let's just now quickly measure the voltage drop on the wires. So between the ends of the probe, I'm not sure if you can see, so we have 0.4 volts. This is the unity probes. So we are working with Ohm law here. This will give us the resistance as the voltage divided by the current. That was 0.48 divided by 10, and that is 0.048 ohms. Now the power lost or dissipated by the cable will be the voltage times the current. So this is like 4.8 watts. So the cable might get a bit warm, yeah, but 4.8 is not a lot, especially if you have 10 amps through it. Now let's check for the mechanic. I need to take this apart. Take my special connector out. We'll be using these ones to measure the voltage, so let's just install them in the meantime. Then for the mechanic, my special adapter goes in, and to the other end on. The voltage drop is like, can you see, a bit higher. It's like 0.5. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm struggling a bit here because I can also feel the cable becoming a bit warm. I don't know why it's fluctuating a lot. Maybe it's because we don't have a solid connection here, and my power supply fan came on, so it will get a bit noisy. Let's just wait for it to calm down. I think it's about 0.5. Yeah, like 0.5, and it's going up. It's going up because the cable is getting hot, and yeah, the cable is a bit warm. It's very hot actually, so we can use 0.5. Still the same formula, Ohm law. We're talking about 0.5 divided by 10. Yeah, so that will give us 0.05 ohms. So it's a bit higher, but not by much. And the power, 0.5 times 10, 5 watts. So that's why this cable was getting a lot warmer, because it's dissipating more power, and it was getting actually very, very hot when the current has been flowing for a long time. That's why maybe we used 0.5, but this resistance could go very high as the cable gets even hotter. I mean, it's not such a deal breaker, but if you are measuring current for a long time, you'd prefer the ones that came with the Unity. But as I told you before, I'm not planning to do any current. These one are for SMD work, and I can go right ahead and switch. And they're in. So this one now will be my primary probes, and these ones they have to retire these ones, or maybe put them away for now until maybe in the future when I might need them. This brings me to the end of my first ever YouTube video. So it's a bit longer than I expected, but I'm glad you stayed here until the end. So tell me what you want to see, some of the improvements we can make. You know I'm struggling a little bit with the camera and I'm a bit messy here, but those are things that you can work with. So like and share, and I hope to see you soon again. Bye.